when you have your spiritual awakening, they're not going to have these steps aren't going to happen necessarily in the same order as what happened with me, but this is basically what happened with me when I had my awakening, because I know that there's a lot of people waking up, and it can be real confusing and scary at times because you're being separated from the herd so that you can be heard. You're being separated from those whose personality you took on, to the people. You're being separated from the people that you kind of allowed yourself to mold you into this being that you are over time, based on people pleasing, what you wouldn't do for somebody and what you would do, and being around certain people who lived their life this way, you would live your life that way around them, just to avoid any kind of confrontation or drama, or just to keep the peace. Being a peacekeeper is a great thing, but it can be detrimental as well. So for my own personal situation, when I first woke up, I started clapping back with family stuff. I told people how I really felt about how they were acting towards me or treating me. And when I realized now, with those rose colored glasses off, that they really didn't care how it was affecting me at all. And they never did. I just didn't realize it because, well, you're asleep. And you believe that everybody cares just like you do. So I immediately went to the religious part of faith, and it was okay. It seemed very judgmental to me, and it seemed like there's a lot of fear. It's fear based. You're afraid to make mistakes because of this God judging you, and the wrath, and what's going to happen to me after I die. Am I going to burn, for all eternity? And you'll live your life like that, and you'll even try to warn family members. And this is why a lot of the times, like, when you don't realize that you're awakening and they don't realize it, they think that you're going into some kind of psychosis. Usually if you're a like a chosen one, you were probably an addict before that, so they just think you lost your mind and that there's no coming back for you, because now you're talking about Jesus and burning in hell. And I mean, it was to the point where I actually was believing that yoga, which is just relaxing, stretching, and meditation, was of the devil. Like, you'll actually believe this in the beginning. Now, for me, I wasn't like a Christian. I went to Catholic school, but it was basically just so I didn't, because I was a fighter, and my parents knew if they would have sent me to the public school in my neighborhood, then it just, my life would have, I wouldn't be here probably, or I would be in prison. So it wasn't for faith reasons, but I wasn't already in that religious thing. So for me, that was new. So for some of you guys, you may have already grown up in a Christian home. So you already had that unhealthy fear of this God judging you, or punishment. Anyway, eventually that's not going to sit well with you. You're going to feel like, see, the whole point, my humble opinion is, from my own experience, the whole point of your awakening is to wake up, yes, to what's going on in the world and the lies, but to also wake up to who you are, like who you really are, to live your life for you, and to realize just how separate from you actually were, because of being the people pleaser that people were used to, and they were so comfortable with you being like. These are the types of people, which are mostly like narcissists in your life, who love when people please them, because they have this grandiose, usually most of them have that grandiose narcissism in them, where they feel entitled, um, for you to please them all the time. So eventually it's going to get uncomfortable for you with the Christianity and the religious thing. And then you're going to start seeing that the stories in the Bible are metaphoric. And then eventually you're going to have this aha moment where you're going to be like, damn, it really does seem like that story of Jesus is my life story. I mean, down to the betrayal for the money, the crucifixion, me carrying my cross, like basically me getting mocked and spit on while I was going through the dark night of the soul, which for me is symbolic to when he walked with his cross. To me, that was like the dark night of the soul. That's what that symbolizes to me. Then you're going to get to the point where you may even decide to go vegan. But again, it's like you have to do these things for you. You came here to live your life for you. Granted, of course, we came here to give back to other people, but I mean, you have to be solid in who you are before you can even be someone that can do that. That's how I feel personally. And it doesn't mean, oh, because a certain percentage of the world is eating no meat, then I have to eat no meat. The whole point of this awakening is for you to like shed all of these layers of what everybody else wanted you to be, or whatever you were told, whatever your beliefs are, and start over. It's like erasing your entire chalkboard of life and starting over based on your own personal human experience. Because there's a lot of lies in the things that we were told, from doctrine to history to the educational system here. It just in the matrix. So you wind up, you may wind up going vegan for a while. You might wind up staying vegan, but if you do, I'm saying do it because you like it and it works for you, and not because you feel like here's like another cult. You know, it can become like another cult where you're judged for eating meat, and you know what I mean? And it's just, we're not supposed to judge anybody for any decisions that they made, right? Now, you may you live your life and make yourself what makes you happy, basically. Because I was eating vegan and I was not healthy. Just wasn't healthy. My body is everybody's body and digestive system is all different. We're all different. So what someone can digest simply, someone else cannot. I mean, there are people that literally cannot eat any kind of roughage or lettuce or anything. How would that person survive off of being vegan? It would be a very limited diet. And there's other people who they can't eat dairy, and other people we can eat it all day long. And this is what makes us individuals, because otherwise you're going right back to the same agenda of everybody liking the same thing. It's like 1984, right? George Orwell's 1984. Everybody's on the assembly line. You wind up going right back into what you're supposed to be getting out of by jumping into like the vegan thing and then the religious thing, and you're supposed to have your own sense of individuality. Okay. Now, I was eating, like, I cut out sugar, junk, whatever, like, and I wasn't happy. And I realized that in order to manifest what you're supposed to, you have to be in a happy state. It's the feeling that you have every day. You can say affirmations until you're blue in the fucking face. But if you don't feel what comes with it, then it's useless words. It really is just useless words. Everything that you manifest off is based off of your feeling. And that's why they say, like, when you're laughing or you're having like a really good time, that is the moment that you should say affirmations to yourself, because that is when your vibration is at its highest, when you're enjoying yourself, dancing, hanging out with friends, laughing and stuff like that. If your diet is making you miserable, or you feel like you have to force yourself to eat stuff, I'm sorry, but in my own opinion, it goes against the whole point of being happy. I started I eat what I feel like eating when I feel like eating it. I listen to my body though. I try to do everything in balance now. And it takes a while to get there. Another thing with the awakening is that people, and I myself included, you want this complete change and you want everything that you came here to receive overnight. And it doesn't work that way. And that's why a lot of people, like, they don't even make it through the dark night of the soul. And then if they do make it through that, they may not even make it through much after that, because there's a lot of loss that comes with it. Loss of people, loss of who you thought you were, for some, loss of weight, you know. But you're also gonna lose a lot of trauma and weight, the other kind of weight, like spiritual weight that came with your life and other lifetimes of living on this planet, and trauma and things that you've been through and horrible things that have happened to you. Basically, the decisions that you're making now are based on what you want. You're not pleasing parents, you're not pleasing children, you're not pleasing friends, coworkers, whatever, family members. You're doing what makes you happy, because unless you are at complete peace and in a state of just contentment with your life, it is impossible for you to genuinely want to give back to others and be that humanitarian energy if you're not content with who you are inside. So when you're forcing yourself to believe in a doctrine that is probably not sitting right with your spirit, or you're forcing yourself to eat a certain way that you don't even like, it goes again, it's basically what you're supposed to be getting away from, is following the crowd, living your life for other people. So basically, like, my advice, not that anybody's asking for it, but is that live your life how you want. What is the advice that you would give your children, for those of you who actually really love your children, and you didn't trap people with babies, and you don't secretly despise your kids, but you actually want to see your kids grow. You don't want to smother them. You're just kind of doing what you have to do, and you know that you're flawed as a parent, because we all are. Those of you, like, the advice you would give your child, right? Be who you want to be. It's funny because a lot of parents will say that to their kids, and then they aren't even who they want to be. They don't know who they want to be. And usually they'll put this stress on wanting to be like the child, and now the child feels like they have to do everything the parent wanted, from what you believe in with God to where you want to go to college and what career you even want to choose. Because if you have a narcissistic parent, which is very likely, at least one, there's a parent, if not both of them, that basically had you so that you can do what they wanted to do in life, but they couldn't. And then they're going to take accolades for it. Now, if you don't go that route, now all of a sudden, they don't really want much to do with you. They will ghost you if you're not taking the route in life that they chose for you. You weren't chosen. Most of you that have narcissistic parents, you weren't a choice for them. You were actually chosen by the universe. You weren't chosen by your narcissistic parents. So just remember that. That's crucial. Either way, we're not going nowhere. 1, 2, 3, 4. I love you guys. Philly out.